Alright, what is up everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today you find me in Skyscrapersim of all things. I know, how unusual. But I came up with an idea and I thought we might as well do it. The bit of a sort of throwback type idea, but I think we can get some good things going on. So my idea is, let's go and look back through history at all of my old Beno Building Creator V2 buildings and just see how I essentially got from where I started with these to where I ended up, which was with the hand-coded buildings, a realistic lift showcase and things like that you've seen in the last few years. So to start off, you can see a giant box in front of us, which to the best of my memory is the first Beno Building Creator V2 building I made. We're talking 2016, when I was still even just new on Scratch, so this is a long time ago. And I called it the OTIS Mansion-ish. And I wonder if you can figure out why as we go in. I've put on random activity. Let's see if I can remember how to control this thing. Put on random activity, guess what? It's linked to those two lifts only. And it's just a giant building filled with OTIS lifts, really. That is pretty much all there is to it. These ones are Gen 2s at the front here. We've got, what have we got at the side here? 2000s there. I'm assuming, we can go faster doing this. High speeds there. Come on, press shift. Press shift so you can actually go fast. And more VFs there. And if we take a quick look, there's not a door there. The door is on this side. Take a quick peek in here. We have even more lifts, because I think I just wanted to push the limits of the shaft. So we've got 2000 VF here, high speeds there, a bunch of calls just got accepted, and some Gen 2s as well. So we will take a ride on the high speeds. Not going to take a ride on the Gen 2s because we'll be here for about 10 minutes, and I want to go to a few buildings today. So as you can see, it's an all glass shaft. Whether you think it looks good or not doesn't really matter. There is no modifications from how it came out of the creator. This is my first one, remember. But here we go up. You can see this middle set's in action. Where'd the other one go? Oh, it's gone way up. Yeah, random activity on the 2018 build of Skyscraper. One set of lifts. The first one that serves the call, that is the set they will go for. Here we are up at 30. And of course, being it's completely stock, the indicator is on both sides of the panel, because that's just how that works. Let's send this down.
Doors opening. Doors opening.
Brilliant. But yeah, this is basically all this is. This is just my sort of first adventure into the world of creating buildings on that building creator. And there's not really a whole much else to say. Will we ride a Gen 2? We'll ride this set, because this set's not in use. We'll take the slowest set, and I'll show you why I didn't want to do it. There goes the high speed lift down. This is the set with random activity enabled. We're just not going to see one. But this is the origin story. This is my origin story when it comes to Skyscrapersim buildings. Actually making one, or at least attempting to make one. I'll let you decide if it's any good or not. The answer, probably not very. The answer is probably pretty rubbish, and you know what? That is so valid. But we've got to start somewhere, and this is where I started. So once we get back down this lift, you can see it's still not here yet because it's a Gen 2 for 30 floors. Although technically that's realistic. Gen 2s love being installed on floors way too high for what they need to be. And what they should, really. I can commentate.
Doors opening.
I also remember back when I was like, I do not like using Freelook, like way back, probably about 2016, 2017. I also wouldn't ride these because I'd be in like this view and in a different non-full screen mode and I wouldn't be able to see the 0 button to press it, I'll just say, well, I can't use this. But anyway, here goes this lift very, very slowly back down. Oh, look at this. One of the random lifts. Random activity lifts on 17. Where's the other one? Oh, it's not far away. Lift race. And... oh, it wasn't actually moving. It's a bit of an unfair lift race then, really, isn't it? Oh well. Almost there. But yeah, if you ever wanted to know where I started on Skyscrapersim, it was with this thing. This thing. Yeah, I don't know either. Well, we've made it, eventually.
Doors opening.
That was this. By the way, I should mention, I don't know why I didn't mention this at the start, when it makes the most sense to mention it. This is going to be a little mini-series. Because I can't go through all my old Beno Building Creator buildings in one day, in one video, because then that video would be way too long. So it's going to be a sort of little mini-series, and there's 4 buildings in total in this episode. But I think that's pretty much all we really need to do with this. Ride the lift up and ride the lift down. There's really nothing else to see. These lifts are completely stock all around, nothing to see here. So I think we should get on immediately to the next building. Now, I'm not going to jump to what I believe is the next building I made, because I think that's the most exciting one. I'm going to save it till last. What I'm instead going to do is I'm going to jump to another simple style building, but one that's had a few lift modifications to it. So with that being said, using the power of editing, we are now going to transport to the first of those buildings. Let's go! And just like that, we have arrived at the next building. As you can see, it is another box. But it's a slightly different box. It's not as tall, it does not have 5 billion lifts, and the lifts have had some modifications to them. So let's go inside. I turned random activity on, but nothing is happening. I stand corrected. So there isn't actually many modifications, if I remember right, although there is the KONE KSS 470 font used on these indicators. It's a simple building, really. It goes up to floor 11, and it just has different KONE lifts in it. I think my vision with this was it wanted to be... I'm going to walk away from that lift actually. I think my vision from this was that I wanted to have loads of different types of KONEs, like each lift shaft was a different type of KONE. In the end, there's only really 3 types. The KSS 470s, which all behave identically, and then these KONEs with Sigma fixtures, which are basically the same as each other except for the speed. So with that said, let's start off with a half trip in these KSS 470s, because these are pretty much vanilla minus that font. You can see which lifts are getting a random activity. Where are we on? 4. Close. And if you're wondering why I chose 11 floors, so the panels are even whether you have 3 columns or 2 columns.
Doors closed.
Because that's important for some reason. I don't know. I really don't know. Again, this was probably like 2017, 2018 maybe, I don't actually remember. I would say 2017, just based on what it is. Oh, that one's collect some random activity calls. Now I can't remember which of these 2 sets is faster. I think it might be this set. Actually, I think this might be the slower set, but we're going to use it anyway. Now these have been given the old Drusco voice, because let me tell you, back in the day, the ML101 voice pack was something that I made extensive use of. I think this is a faster lift actually, not sure. But that's where that voice came from. Can't remember if this is floor messages. Does not.
Doors opening. Going down.
So we'll send this lift down a few different floors because we can. There we go. We'll go around to the other set. We'll call it up. There goes that one. Gets all the way down to 8 because that's the first button I pressed. You can hear one of these ones. Wait, I think this is a slower set after all. I think I was right with calling that one the faster set. Yep, this is the slower set, I think. Oh dear.
Doors opening.
Ah, this is a different
Going down.
set of messages. This is just from another pack of Skyscrapersim voices. I can't remember whose it is.
Doors closing. Doors opening.
And of course the symptom of the time, the messages are in the door sound.
Going down.
Because we
Doors
didn't have
closing.
the message announcements when this was made. In fact, I think I made this on the Beno edition of the game, which is why I didn't have the message announcements for open and close. Got the K Delta font, or the Delta font I should say. Not exactly realistic for that indicator, if it's a Sigma indicator, because they have the KSS 470 height one. What's the number of dots again? I think it's 11 instead of 13. KSS 470 versus Delta. Here we are back at 0 in this.
Doors opening. Going up.
Going up. Going down. This one's almost here.
Doors closing.
We'll watch this one arrive. Wonder if I can do something funny. Ah, they both open. It's not that funny.
Going up.
Can watch these two go.
Doors closing. Doors closing.
There we go. Oh, I thought that was about to arrive. But anyway, that is the KONE version of this building. There is another version, exactly the same. Oh, actually, there's some service lifts here, I think. Not going to ride them, just take a quick look at them. I think around here there's a door to some service lifts. I don't think they're anything interesting. Ah, they've just got the font, but I think that's just a text to texture. I just changed that in one place and that applied it to all of them. So, not worth bothering looking at those. I forgot those were there. But let us now, once again, through the magical power of editing, move to a different version of this building. I wonder what we will find there. Let's go. And we are here in number 3. And as you can tell, it's an OTIS building. So, some more OTIS to have a look at. Again, Gen 2s on the sides, for again Gen 2s as well. It's very much the same sort of formula. There's some 2000 VFs here, and over here there are some OTIS 2000s, a little cheeky display modification I made there. We have a quick look at what the service lifts are. We have to go all the way around for those. We'll have a quick look at the service lifts and then we will see what comes next. So, 2000 VFs, a set of 4. Now I cannot remember if I did anything to these minus changing the font again and the OTIS 2000 there. So again, we will ride a Gen 2 halfway. This one. We will go to 6 and back. That set's got the random activity. Again, because Debenhams in Inverness was a thing, I was just like, OTISs must have a panel both sides. So that's going to be a common theme that you see. There's a bit of a text-to-texture issue with these builds of the sim and italicized fonts, or italics font, I don't know how you say it, but kind of leads to a little bit of clipping at times, like that. We know what these OTIS cabs are like. We know them very well. And here's the Gen 2 back at the bottom. So, out of these two sets, the OTIS 2000s I think are the slower ones, and the VFs are the faster ones. Because that's some logic I had. Okay. Pretty sure back in the day I probably just yoinked that from a video of some kind, but
Stand clear, door closing.
that's a thing, I guess.
Stand clear, door opening.
I forgot I did that.
Door closing.
Anyway, up in the OTIS 2000, and I did not know how OTIS serial numbers worked back then because there's an extra letter that needn't be there. Why is that W there? If you exclude that W, this is the right-hand Debenhams Inverness lift serial number. But that W kind of ruins it. So, yeah, slightly suboptimal. The number 1 is like the worst affected by it. It just doesn't even look like a 1. Oh, actually the glitch on the right-hand number kind of makes the left-hand number look somewhat whole again. That's a thing, I guess. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, beep. I may or may not have just pressed all the buttons.
Stand clear, door
Stand clear, doors closing. We'll call up the other one. We'll also bring up one of the 2000 VFs, I suppose. Why not? There's a bit of an advantage in favour of the 2000, but let's see if the VF can win. Definitely is not going to win. But... wait, hang on. Hang on. I just said this was definitely not going to win and it won. Your prize? Being on floor 3. I'm going back down the... I'm stuck on a lift shaft. Going back down the 2000. Too fast. Game is too fast.
Stand clear, door closing.
That is actually a lot faster than I remember it being. Okay. Also, I think these lift shafts, the lift shafts in this one are a different texture. Maybe. Not sure. Not sure, can't remember. Oh well. Well. How did I manage to make the Gen 2s faster than the 2000? That's a skill. Your prize is being on floor 5.
Stand clear, door opening.
Right, what about this? Also has these announcements. Alright, let's just run this up to 11 and then I think we'll call it for this building. Because you get the idea. Simple building. It's basically the same idea as the KONE building, except these aren't KONEs. You get the idea. Your prize is to sit on floor 7. I don't know what it thinks of that prize. What do you think of your prize? Anyway. We'll watch it go, and watch it end up on 7. Well, we end up here on 11. There it goes. With the indicator, of course. And as we get to Gen 2 arriving, we have reached the end of the simple buildings, and now it is time to go to a building that isn't so simple. Everyone rejoice. Less simplistic, coming right up. So if we're ready, let's see what the less simplistic building is going to be. Alright, here we are in the final building for this part of the series, this first episode. And at first glance, you're not really seeing anything too unusual. There's a set of lifts here. 2 floors. What could it be? Well, I did this. So what this is actually a hotel. A hotel where I decided every 10th floor is where the rooms are. But why would I build anything? Why would I build anything in between that? No, that's just not sensible. So what did I do? Not do that. Just blank space. So let's take a look at them. So heading inside, we have the lifts to the reception, because you need 6 lifts to go 2 floors. You really do. These are KONEs with Sigma fixtures, and as was the case, I changed the motor. As was the case, of course I changed the motor, because for some reason I felt that motor, clearly an MX-20, an MX, what is it called again? An MX-1016 I think it is, or an MX-20, was the best choice for a first gen MX-10. Again, talk to me from back in the day, tell you that. But these are these lifts, they're all the same. They're not worth looking at. So in my infinite wisdom, right? 6 lifts to go 2 floors. How many lifts go up the really tall high-rise hotel? The answer? 4 lifts. And in my further infinite wisdom, they open outwards on this floor only. So you can pick this lift, or you have to go all the way around to these 2 OTIS lifts, which aren't a set, every lift is separate. Or you can go all the way around further and ride this KONE lift. So we'll ride the KONE. There's also a little sneaky service area in there. Doesn't really get up to much. And yes, because this is such an old building, this is the second building I ever made, I'm pretty sure. You have the giant panel. Let's go up the top. But I did manage to figure out an express zone, so that's something. Eventually. Kind of a rhythmic sound. Not remotely a realistic sound, but it's rhythmic, and that's what counts. Wow, that was timed with the door. That was timed with it again. Ah, it wasn't so well timed. So you gotta wonder, why did I break my own rule of only every 10th floor? Well, because 62 is the top in the building creator, so I was like, well, I've got to have something there. So I'll just do it again. We'll take one of the OTISes, we'll ring up one of the OTISes and we'll take it down in just a moment. But let's take a look at the totally realistic width hotel corridor and the totally realistic size hotel room. Well, you do get a nice view out to absolutely nothing. Look at the size of this hotel room, totally realistic. And it sort of goes around here, it sort of wraps around. And why is there this little bit going on here? Different shaped room, that's why. Let's have a different shaped room. Has a giant corner in it now. Because that makes so much sense, doesn't it? As you can tell, me from back in the day, the common sense was just not here at all when it came to making buildings. The OTIS lift is here, so we'll take it down to 10, just to verify that it is indeed the same on all the floors. Again, the OTISes are worse for this because of the 2 columns only of buttons. Yep, those are basically lift buttons for cats and dogs at this point, let's be real. Here we go down the OTIS. Again, the cab is just what we would come to expect from a Beno Building Creator OTIS cab. Very few modifications, but you gotta remember these are some of the oldest buildings, so they also have some of the oldest levels of mod skill. In other words, it doesn't really exist. Oh, the KONE just arrived at 20. Doesn't really exist, you know? Let that OTIS go to 1. I'll ring a chime off of that lift. This poor KONE never really gets any love because it always faces the exact wrong way. As you can see, it is just the exact same corridor. And it comes with this little view here. Again, a view of absolutely nothing. So to finish off, we'll take a look at the sneaky service lifts. The sneaky service lift, which if memory serves me right, might well be smaller than the passenger lifts. Yes, the service lifts are smaller than the passenger lifts, so let's take a ride. But, in good news, they're set. So I did one thing right. I made a set of lifts somewhere a set that makes sense. I'm not counting those KONEs up to the reception because there's far too many of them. And the difference between these lifts and the passenger lifts? They also go down to 0. Because that was my idea of making it a secure place. Maybe on this side. And also, service lift with glass doors. Oh, wait, I did do something different. It opens on alternating sides. I actually did something different with these lifts. And guess what? It's so easy to ride an express elevator, am I right? Am I right? Tumbleweed. Here we are back up at the top. As you can see, it's just these lifts. And now we will bypass the need to go through reception by going down to 0 to finishing off. But I hope you enjoyed this first look at some of my older buildings. Of course, this is just the first episode with some of the oldest ones. There will be more interesting things to come, more complex things. These are very, 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 very simple. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Gives you an idea of where I started with this stuff way back when. Like, it's certainly interesting trying to figure out what I was thinking when making these. But here they are. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know which one was your favourite. I imagine everyone's probably going to go for this one because it's the only one that is not a box. It's very much not a box. Here's the service lifts down on 0. Watch it close. And we'll head out to finish. Whoop. Crashed into a door. That's not worked. And also the absolute highlight of building realism when you can see the bottoms of the lift shafts from the floor below. Absolutely incredible. Got to love 0 height interfloors. Absolute best you can come up with. But with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of reviewing my old Beno Building Creator V2 Skyscrapersim buildings. As I say, let me know what your favourite one was, and in the next episode it'll probably be something that's a little bit more complex than what I just showed you there. So thank you for watching once more. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.